Okay, so, wow. Did you see that news this morning? The headline about Tory Lanez? Just sort of stops you in your tracks.
It really does. Daystar Peterson, his legal name, of course,
Hmm.
an attack reportedly while incarcerated.
Ah.
Yeah, quite a development.
A huge development,
Yeah,
especially given, all the attention around his original case.
exactly. And his ongoing sentence.
Right. So just for anyone maybe needing a quick reminder, Tory Lanez, the Canadian rapper, singer, had a pretty big career going, right? 7 U.S. top 10 albums before everything changed with the conviction.
That's right. And that conviction obviously was for the shooting involving Megan Thee Stallion back in 2020.
Which brings us to today. Our deep dive is focused squarely on this incident, the reported attack on Lanez inside prison.
And for this, we're looking at the initial reports coming out from places like ABC News, BBC News. That's the information we have to work with right now.
Exactly. So our goal here for you listening is to, get past that initial shock, maybe, and really try to understand the key facts that are being reported. What happened and what might it imply based on these credible sources?
Sounds good. Where should we start? The attack itself.
Yeah, let's start there. The basics. What do we know about when and where this actually took place?
Okay, so the reports point to Monday, May 12th, 2025. And the time given is around 7:20 a.m. local time.
7:20 a.m. Okay. And the location?
That's a California Correctional Institution in Tehachapi. It's roughly 75 miles north of Los Angeles, give or take.
So morning hours, not the middle of the night or something, in Tehachapi. And what's being said about what happened, the nature of the attack?
The reports we're seeing, ABC, BBC, they both state he was stabbed
Stabbed. Okay. By?
by a fellow inmate. That's the information given.
Wow. Okay. Pretty serious. What about the immediate aftermath? How did the prison handle it?
Well, according to both sources, the response from prison staff was reportedly very quick. They activated 9/11 emergency protocols and started giving him medical aid right there.
On the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then following that, he was transported out to an outside hospital for, more significant treatment.
Right. So the official line confirms an attack, confirms hospitalization, but then there's this other stream of information which seems much more detailed coming from his Instagram account.
That's right. And this is where the details get quite graphic. Both ABC and the BBC mention this Instagram post.
And what did it claim in terms of injuries?
Okay, so the post apparently detailed a total of 14 stab wounds.
14?
14, yeah. It broke it down. 7 to his back, 4 to his torso, 2 to the back of his head,
Jeez.
and 1 to the left side of his face.
That's incredibly specific.
Very. And it didn't stop there. The post also claimed both of his lungs had collapsed.
Both.
Yeah. Said he was initially put on a breathing apparatus because of that. But the post also apparently gave an update saying he's now breathing on his own.
Okay, so a really severe picture painted there. Did the post say anything about how he's doing now? Mentally or his condition otherwise?
It did. It reportedly mentioned he's talking normally, is in good spirits, surprisingly, and feeling thankful.
Thankful.
Thankful and, grateful for prayers and support he's apparently getting.
It's quite a narrative coming from the social media side. It contrasts pretty sharply with the more, let's say, reserved official statements. What about his legal team? Have they said anything publicly?
Yes, ABC News got comment from Crystal Morgan, one of his attorneys. She did confirm the attack happened and confirmed he was hospitalized on Monday afternoon.
Okay, so confirmation there.
But she also said she didn't really have specific information on his condition. She used the phrase, "in the dark," basically saying she knew as much as the public did at that point.
Interesting.
She also mentioned she told his family what had happened.
Right. So even his own lawyer is seemingly waiting for more concrete info from the authorities. What about the prison officials themselves? Have they added anything beyond just confirming the attack?
Not much, it seems. Both news outlets report the prison spokesperson confirmed the basics attack happened. Peterson Lanez was hospitalized. But no details beyond that.
Like what kind of details are missing?
Well, specifics on the injuries. For one, they haven't commented on that Instagram post's claims at all.
Yeah.
Also, nothing on whether he's still in the hospital or discharged. And crucially, nothing about suspects. Has anyone been identified or charged for the stabbing?
Right. That's a big gap. The lack of info on suspects especially. It definitely leaves a lot of questions just hanging there.
It does. But it does sound like investigations are definitely happening.
Okay. What's being reported on that front?
Both ABC and the BBC mentioned the prison's own investigative services unit is looking into it. And the Kern County District Attorney's Office is also involved, launching their own probe.
Kern County DA.
Plus, the Office of the Inspector General has been notified. That usually signals they're taking it very seriously. Likely a thorough review process is underway.
Yeah, involvement of the OIG usually does mean that. Okay, so investigations are active. Now, maybe we should step back for a second. To really understand the weight of this, we have to remember why Tory Lanez is in prison.
Exactly. That context is crucial. As both sources state clearly, he's serving a 10-year sentence.
10 years.
For the shooting and injuring of Megan Thee Stallion, Megan Pete, back in July 2020.
Right. And the conviction itself was, remind me.
December 23rd, 2022. That's when the jury found him guilty. Guilty on 3 specific charges related to that night.
Okay, what were those charges again?
Assault with a semi-automatic firearm, carrying a loaded, unregistered firearm in a vehicle, and discharging a firearm with gross negligence.
All stemming from that incident where Megan Thee Stallion was shot in the feet.
Correct. Both feet.
It was such a massive case.
Yep.
So much public debate. What was the core of Lanez's defense during that trial?
Essentially, his legal team argued he wasn't the shooter. And Lanez himself, he's consistently said he's innocent, right? Even after the conviction on social media and stuff.
Did he testify?
No, he pleaded not guilty, but chose not to take the stand during the trial.
And Megan Thee Stallion's testimony obviously was central. Her impact statement during sentencing too, right?
Absolutely. Prosecutors read out a powerful statement from her. She spoke about the trauma, urged the court to hold Lanez fully accountable. She also said he sort of made a mockery of her trauma and tried to destroy her character afterwards.
Such a heavy situation all around. And this attack in prison now happens while he was actually appealing that sentence, wasn't he?
Yes. That's right. He had tried to get released on bond while the appeal process went forward, but that was denied back in September 2023. So, yeah, this stabbing occurs within that ongoing legal context.
Okay, let's just quickly revisit the shooting itself, July 2020. What were the reported circumstances leading up to it?
Well, the testimony, particularly from Megan Thee Stallion, described it happening after they left a party. Kylie Jenner's place in Hollywood, I think.
Right.
An argument apparently broke out in the SUV they were in. The subject was reportedly about, well, a past sexual relationship between them and also their music careers.
And things escalated from there.
According to her testimony, yes. She asked to be let out of the car. And it was then, she testified, that Lanez started shooting towards the ground near her feet, allegedly telling her to dance.
Just awful. And she needed surgery after that.
Yes, for bullet fragments in her foot. She testified he didn't apologize.
And you mentioned earlier, the whole case really divided people, didn't it? Especially within the hip-hop world.
Oh, absolutely. It became incredibly polarizing. The BBC report touches on this, how some artists publicly seemed to side with Lanez, or at least question the narrative. Some even wrote letters to the judge asking for leniency before his sentencing.
Yeah, I remember that.
It just highlighted how complex these situations can become, spilling way beyond the legal facts into, fan bases, industry politics, social commentary.
For sure. A reminder that these aren't just legal cases. They have huge cultural ripples. And wasn't there something about him planning new music from prison even before this attack?
Yeah, the BBC mentioned he'd actually teased a new album titled Peterson, apparently. So it seemed like he was still trying to be creative, engage with his career from behind bars.
Okay, so let's try and bring this all together for now. We have this really shocking news. Tory Lanez attacked in prison, reportedly stabbed multiple times. He's hospitalized.
Right, and there's this detailed graphic account circulating via his Instagram, but official sources are much tighter-lipped while investigations get underway.
Investigations by the prison, the DA, and the Inspector General are all happening.
Correct, and all this is happening while he's serving that 10-year sentence for the violent felony conviction involving Megan Thee Stallion.
It's definitely a serious situation. An attack like this inside a prison, especially on someone high profile, raises immediate questions about safety security.
For sure, and the contrast between the social media narrative and the official silence, it just creates this vacuum of information, really. Makes you wonder what the full story is, what the motive might have been.
Absolutely. So maybe the final thought for you listening is this. What does an incident like this tell us, if anything, about the realities inside the prison system? Especially for inmates who are well known.
And maybe, how does this new violent event potentially shift or complicate the public conversation, the narrative that's already so fraught around both Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion? What questions does this leave you wrestling with?